Thank you. Thank you. See, they try to steal my lines, but I will say it. Away we go. It is Friday, August 21st of 2020, and this is the TRC sales training, which always is a rowdy call with this rowdy group. So I will jump right into it. I know Paul can too. You were kind enough to get me some recordings from Sam, and just give me a little bit of a background. What are we dealing with here? Hang on, I'm gonna mute you all. Let me mute you all, because you're all coming in hot. All right, you're all muted now, so that Paul, I'm going to put you in the hot seat. Tell me first, what am I dealing with here?
Sam got 3 packages out yesterday. I haven't listened to the calls.
Why are you whispering? Why are you whispering? Come on, say it like you mean it. What's the matter with you? Where's your voice? Find your voice. You're whispering.
My spouse is asleep in the next room.
Mary is the only excuse I will ever give you. I got it. You're off the hook.
Very quiet.
Okay, so you have not heard these calls, so we don't know what we're listening to. Is that right?
Well, they're just expired. I mean, we only call expired. I only have calling expired.
Okay, but remember, going forward, what we're definitely looking for from Sam is that second call. Gail will tell you firsthand how important this is going to be, for this second call that's intuitive, that we need to know that, they're turning the corner. So make sure you tell her specifically, if she's not already on here. We are definitely, Sam, looking for some of your second calls. Like I said, be careful what y'all wish for. Now you got it, right? Now you're responsible for turning those appointments. And the big, hang on one second, so everybody knows. And the big issue here is that a lot of you are not listening to that second beat. You're not hearing the red alerts that there is an opportunity there for you, and we're not turning that corner, and we need to do so. Go ahead, Paul. I cut you off.
So yesterday, she booked an appointment for me this afternoon, and she queued me or teed me up for 2 other calls that I booked the appointments for, one for today and one for Wednesday. So basically we booked 3 appointments yesterday between us, and then we got 3 more packages out the door. So it's going pretty damn well.
Good. Excellent. Okay. That's good. That's good. So what would you say about it? Any critique?
Working from the office with my brother Daniel. So she's no longer working from here. She's moved out of my place. Any critiques? Why is it working well? What's happening? What is the difference, so everybody knows? I just think the month and a half of working face to face, 5 feet apart, really helped. And I don't think there's any way to have somebody remote have the same effect as like literally being in someone's face for 9 hours a day, going, "Hey, no, you shouldn't have said that. You should have said it this way," or just explaining the nuances of Seattle and our market. It really helped.
Okay, good. Awesome. All right. Gail, any thoughts as we kick this off here? Anything that you want to focus on too? Because you and Paul have been in sort of the hot seat with me this week about this stuff. Any thoughts?
Well, my thought is I'm going to hire somebody that's remote.
Yeah.
However, she's been in real estate, and maybe there'll be a time when she'll come out, but I'm not. I want to be able to use somebody that's already like Jessica. She has experience, and she has a lot of experience telemarketing, and with this letting Rebecca go was probably the best thing that I could have done, and Danny really pushed me to do it. So that's why we have a coach, and if we listen to him, he can help us, because it was a pattern that I was going to have, and I needed to interrupt that pattern. So Thank you, Danny.
Yeah, well, you're welcome. But let me qualify that so that you all don't get scared. I'm not some ogre that wanted anybody to get fired. Okay.
No, she was there for 10 months.
Yeah.
Come on. We had 2 appointments.
Yeah. And this is what I want to bring up. I want you all to understand what I'm after to protect you all, whether you're an agent, a telemarketer. You have to be effective in this. And there is a certain reasonable amount of time where if you're not having the ability to be effective, it's not working. It's simple. I mean, there's only so much training and coaching somebody can get. And if they're not going to be effective, it's time to move on for everybody's best interests. Okay. So, and for all you team leaders and owners, when you're trying to get somebody set up for success, it is our obligation to make sure that that person that we're dealing with, we are indeed putting them in a position for success. So here we have Sam, who is physically there, and it has meant a lot to Paul, but Sam's a lot younger and doesn't have worldly experience. Whereas yesterday, I absolutely gave Gail, after an interview, the green light to hire somebody who's in Florida, across the country. And it's because the lady was absolutely 100% a true telemarketer. She was humble. She was an incredibly good listener. Even during the interview, she was able to be coached in the very first call. She made some adjustments. And so it was wildly impressive. And I'm going to be open-minded as to this digital world we live in, this independent contractor across the country world that we live in. However, now Gail has that challenge. So Sam has the challenge of youth, don't have a lot of experience in that listening intuitive moment. So that will have to evolve. This gal will have to evolve into understanding the Palo Alto general greater area marketplace. And that will be Gail's burden. However, the core that they will share, that we will be looking for, is, are they true telemarketers? And are they truly turning that corner, going up that value ladder? Meaning what? The responsibility on the inside part of this work in telemarketing is to fully express the unique and universally appealing proposition that we have a plan for them. Okay, that's the key core thing we teach here. Then the next step up is, on top of that core information, whether it be a seller or a buyer, it is our insight, the outside sales agent's insight. So all you outside sales agents, you need to learn how to turn that corner too. You need to go from information to insight. That's what people are judging you on. I just finished a podcast, How to Convert More Clients. It'll be out next couple episodes, how to convert more clients. And the premise of this is what we teach here every single week. And that is, information in the form of a plan is very important to understand that that is unique and universally appealing. Nobody takes the time to curate information and organize it. Meaning, what are all the steps that go into selling a property, buying a property? Nobody takes the time to outline those, and then nobody takes the time to chunk them up into individual modules.
Sorry.
It's okay. You have the fanciest ringtone anyway. So nobody takes the time to curate that and put that in order. So it makes it unique. Okay. That work effort is unique. And so, but hold on, but it's also universally appealing to people. So all of you have to understand the value in that. And that's why you. So that when you get on the phone, it's not just Sam or any of the telemarketers, just going through these motions of a script. It's not just me or the outside sales agents going through the motions of the steps in the house. You have to understand genuinely and authentically why that matters to them. Dean's said it the best. What's in it for them? What's in it for them? And truly to be attached to that. Go ahead, Paul.
When I was talking about remote, I really wasn't talking about that. I was talking about like Mexico or the Philippines, where it's not the same as living in the States. I didn't necessarily mean in the same city per se.
Yeah, 100% agreed and understood, fully understood. It's extremely difficult to be overseas and to have a feeling for North America, because we have our Canadian, crowd too. All right, let's get a rolling, Paul. I'm going to hit these. And by the way, we had a good outside sales discussion last week, and I'm happy to talk more about anecdotes, because you need to understand that if you're an outside sales agent on this team, on any of these teams, you're being given an appointment. You need to know that that was set up through the offer that we just discussed, that there's a unique set of informational product that you're coming in to add insight and customize that information. But all of you, again, I implore you, if you haven't read the seller course or the buyer course, you don't have a clue. You don't have a clue as to what's unique. And that's why a lot of top producers in this group are still fumbling and stumbling. If somebody asks why you, I've heard people in this group say, because I have integrity and I have a resume. What are you even talking about? Tune in, sharpen up, and get ready to compete the right way. All right, let me listen to these. Here we go. Let's go for the first one here.
Hello?
Hello. Hi, is this Matthew?
Yes, it is.
Hi, this is Sam. I'm calling from Cantu Group Real Estate. I'm calling because we saw your beautiful home online, and we noticed it didn't sell. So we wanted to mail you something that will help you sell it the next time. May I do that?
Go ahead and mail it to me. That's fine.
Okay, is the best mailing address 7502 Latona Avenue?
We're thinking about moving down to the Gig Harbor area.
Hold on.
Okay, perfect. And it looks like a beautiful property. Why were you trying to sell it?
There you go. Way better.
We were thinking about moving down to the Gig Harbor area and decided against doing that.
Oh, okay, so your plans changed?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And like from a scale of 1 to 10, how motivated are you to sell it?
Right now, not, but in about a year, it'll be a 10.
In about a year.
Why?
Okay.
Why?
Well, why aren't you considering moving right now?
Good.
Interest rates are at the
Because-
lowest right now.
Because I'm building a house in
Oh.
Maine and it's not going to be done for a year.
Good. Good.
Oh, okay.
Good.
All
There you
right, that's fine. Well, I'll mail that over just for you to have our
Okay.
contact information and see our plan. And I'll give you a call in a week just to make sure that you received it, okay?
Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.
Good. This is really good. I mean, that's bravo. That is what I'm talking about making the adjustment. See that, Gail? See how easily she made it? Like 1 week to the next, or just a couple weeks since Paul's been out of the way, she makes the adjustment. That's what I mean. You can either make that adjustment right there or you can't. And it should take a couple of weeks to be, in that conversation. And she's finding her voice. And, there's still a little bit of listening that has to happen there, but she's direct and she gets the answer. That is what you call an effective second beat. And Sam, is Sam on with us?
Hi,
Sam, hi.
I'm here.
What you did extremely well this time. There's one little moment in there that you really did a good job. And it's when you actually raised the tone in a positive way, but you were genuine. I finally heard Sam ask or say, it looks like a beautiful house. Why are you trying to sell it? I finally heard you say it the way that I want you to say it, which is the way you would say it if you were talking to me and you were positive. So instead of sounding like a little girl or sounding weirdly, strangely like authoritative, you found your voice in the middle. That's a perfect example. So you should keep that call and you should listen to it from time to time for your own self-training so you understand what I'm saying. That's Sam. That's how you ask that. That's how you go from, yes, you can send it. That's great. Wonderful. Looks like a beautiful house. Why not? And you keep digging like Heather's been doing well, with Chris. You kept digging in to find out why. So he's got a house. It won't be ready, but he's going to be there. So this is the type of guy that when you call him back, say, look I made my notes here that, it's going to be a year. You have a copy of our plan. So what I can also do is I sent you out some pictures and details of what sold around you. But what I could also do is I could also put you into the multiple listing service, the Northwest multiple listing service, so you stay updated over that time, because now you're going to need continuity and you already know that going in, but you're doing this perfectly. Let the unique selling proposition in its product form arrive. Let that do its job to change the relationship and he sees you as professional. But then make the interim upsell, which is to get the continuous feed from the Northwest MLS of what sells in that category, because you guys Daniel's going to take the snapshot, but you want to upgrade them. So they're coming and you want to express the value of that. Say it's important that you stay up on what's happening in the market. So we'll put you on a market, update. And by the way, Paul, tell Daniel to start including, if he doesn't already, in these packages that are going out, that market update, the newsletter. Okay. Because your upsell is going to be, the continuity upsell is going to be that you're going to continue to send that, okay, month to month, but you're also going to email him the properties that sell around him. So what he got in the package was one static moment in time, but you'll put him on the mailing list and email list so he stays up to date on the general market and he's getting the properties that sell around him. Sam, you need to really now learn that pitch for the longer term stuff, okay?
Okay.
Autumn, I want you to hear that too. Would you confirm that you heard what I just said? I think I muted everybody's mic, so you'll have to unmute it. I want to make
Yep, I heard it.
perfect.
I heard it.
Perfect. So there's that thing that when that gap happens, Autumn, of those things we were talking about, that gap, we want to make sure they're getting that digital copy at least of my market update, and that we get them. And Laura can do that stuff, right? That's her job kind of thing, right? She puts them in there because she's making the package. That's really what, ladies, to both of you and anybody, That puts a safety net under you. Okay, that's true effective content marketing that's happening. You are sending them the content along the way so that when your call comes up in Infusionsoft or wherever, you know now they've been getting this stuff and you can refer to it. Hey, just checking in. And Autumn and Sam, you've got the latest copy of the market update month to month, pinned to your wall so that we get a talking point in our meeting. Hey, ladies, remember, inventory cut in half in Boston. I mean, in Cape Cod, and doubled in Boston. There's your 2 talking points for this month. You don't need to say a lot. You just need to be able to hit them with some, hey, did you see in the last newsletter this? Hey, did you see this? Boom. Hey, did you see that property? Boom. And you're just there. You're just trying to stay there, but you're staying there with what's relevant. Market updates, and then the micro market update is what sells around them. Ladies, to the 2 of you, does that make sense? Any questions? Pretty straightforward.
No,
Yeah.
it makes sense.
And Autumn, that stitches that, like, you know how we freak out when we're analyzing the gap, right? In, you know, right? We're freaking out. Content supports it. Imagine the content going out there is keeping you in front of him because you are the one that said that, so that when the call is 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, or he gets lost, you never know. He could call back in, she could call back in based on just that stuff alone. Okay? Sam?
Yes.
Sam, you follow?
Wait.
Okay.
Got it.
And I should have every team leader and every telemarketer following that piece of advice, because this is what conversion looks like. It's simple if you stick to that plan. It's simple if you just explain only that piece. Sam, you went a little bit too far with one piece of this, okay? You tried to sell them. You hard sold them just a wee bit. Because you said, well, how come you don't sell it? You know, interest rates are the lowest. Why did you say that?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Okay.
right? See what I'm saying? There's no need for that. It's the only thing that hurts this call. Okay?
Okay.
The only
So I just
thing.
ask up front, like, why don't you want to sell?
You did it already. You were
But that's it. Like, I leave, period.
yeah, you were doing it beautifully. Let's go back.
Okay.
I'm going to go back and listen. You are doing this beautifully because you're sticking to it. You're not interjecting yourself. You're making him important. That's what all this training and coaching has led us to do, is refine everything. Hey, looks like a beautiful house. Why are you trying to sell it? Right? Let's go back and listen to it again. The only critique I had was you went too far with that. Okay? Because it sounded like you were trying to sell him on it. Geez, your plans changed. You asked him. Really, what changed? What changed? Right? What changed? Well, I'm building a house in Maine and it won't be ready for a year. Boom. You didn't have to pressure him. Because you can see, you get this very subtle, but I've been doing it for so long. You do this perfectly on the second beat. You finish, wonderful. I'll call you next week to make sure you got it. By the way, while I have you, your tone changes and his tone changes. He rises up to a conversational tone with you. But then that one weird little pushy moment, he kind of gears down again. Watch and listen to this listen very closely. It's very subtle, but I want you to hear it.
Hello?
Hello. Hi, is this Matthew?
Yes, it is.
Hi, this is Sam. I'm calling from Cantu Group Real Estate. I'm calling because we saw your beautiful home online and we noticed it didn't sell. So we wanted to mail you something that will help you sell it the next time. May I do that?
Go ahead and mail it. Go ahead and mail it to me. That's fine.
Okay. Is the best mailing address 7502 Latona Avenue, Northeast?
Northeast, yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay, perfect. And it looks like a beautiful property. Why were you trying to sell it?
We were thinking about moving down to the Gig Harbor area and decided against doing that.
Oh, okay. So your plans changed?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And like from a scale of 1 to 10, how motivated are you to sell it?
Right now, not. But in about a year, it'll be a 10.
In about a year. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Well, why aren't you considering moving right now? Interest rates are at the lowest right now.
Because I'm building a house in
Oh.
Maine and it's not going to be done for a year.
Oh, okay. All right. That's fine. Well, I'll mail that over just for you to have our
Okay.
contact information and see our plan. And I'll give you a call in a week just to make sure that you received it, okay?
Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.
See what I'm saying? You didn't need that. You
Yeah,
do you
I think I said that because I thought he was a buyer too.
no,
don't know.
no, he wasn't a buyer.
No.
Yeah, he wasn't a buyer. He was, and then he
I thought-
wasn't. Your
Yeah.
plans changed. What changed? What changed about your plans? You see, if you would listen to him, I was trying to go here, but now I'm not going there. Oh, really? Did your plans change? Yep, they changed. Right? Really? What changed? Why did you decide not to buy? You didn't ask any of those questions, and you had them right here in your hands. And you had his elevation goes up, but it's very subtle. But the minute you push him about some weird thing about whatever you said, instead of just staying in the conversation, he drifts off. You're still effective, and that's what it matters most. Music to Gail's ears right now would be if somebody could have just been effective for her like that. The package is out, the phone call is set up, right? And now say, I heard you last time that it won't be ready for a year, and I made a note. But what I want to suggest is what's in that package. This is where you really need to be attached. What's in that package is just a snapshot of what happened recently. But since it's going to be a while, I'd like to keep sending you that market update each month. And I'd also like to put you into the Northwest MLS so that every time something closes that's in your category, you'll have it in your email so you can stay up to date with what is exactly happening. And then when it comes time, I'd be happy to set you up with Paul so he can give you some of his insights. And you just have to keep getting that dialogue. It's not going to come easily, but you just have to keep getting that dialogue. What you're doing is you're riding along this beam of light called the value ladder, right? I mean, it's stepping up. You're going up, more valuable, more valuable. Paul's time is the most valuable. Paul's time in coaching and insight in his house is the most valuable. That's how this works, right? So we're just, but stay in there. Stay in there. Don't pick random apples from the tree. Hey, the interest rates are, why are you, what's that got to do with this guy? You see what I'm saying? What's that got to do with this guy? I know what you're saying. It's a good time to buy it, but who cares what the interest rates if I'm not a 10 to move? Who cares? It's completely irrelevant until I'm a 10 to move and that I want to even buy locally. Well, it turns out he doesn't even want to buy locally. He's decided to go to Maine. Okay? Maine is way over here, not where you are. It's all the way to the other side, right?
Yeah.
Got it? So
Got
it was all right there in front of you. So you got a nice slow pace in the beginning, but you have to hear this. Paul, you want to weigh in on that at all?
I think the advice you're giving her is exactly what I would concur with. So no, it's yeah, I mean it's close. There's always room for the nuances, like you said, dancing on the head of and getting it closer to perfect.
Well, right, because these nuance, and this is tough. This is the toughest part to coach. Bravo, Sam, for your evolution. We got Paul out of the way so that you could be fully responsible. But like I say to everybody, once you're fully responsible for getting to him to the face, you've got to really keep working because this is more intuitive now. We're off script per se.
You know what happens to me a lot?
Sure.
I get nervous and sometimes I don't want to shut up because I don't want to sound dumb.
Exactly
So
right.
I ask random questions just for me to sound a little bit more professional, but I just say it with the tone like I know what I'm talking about, but I actually don't know what I'm
All right, that's exactly right. You're sounding dumb when you make it up. I mean, everybody, me, if we keep talking, we sound dumber than we are. Dumb's a strong word. It's not it. But
Okay,
it's
well, doesn't make any sense though.
Yeah, exactly. You made no sense. You picked a random fact out of the sky, which was right. It's a current fact. But what does that have to do with him? Because you're so nervous. And you have to ask yourself in that moment, what are you nervous about?
Yeah.
What are you? Because that's a real thing. What are you nervous about?
Yeah, I know.
Think about it for a second.
Well, I'm nervous because I don't know if sometimes I get people that know a little bit more about real estate.
Okay, see, that's my brother started his career the same way. Well, these people are savvy. What do you mean they're savvy? What does that mean? Well, he's a doctor and he sold a house before. What? Well, they're not savvy. Okay? They're not savvy about real estate like we are. And you're not trying to go into the heavy stuff. That's why Paul Danny, Gail, right? That's why we're all there, because we have way more insight. And all you're trying to do is sell us into the house or have us meet the buyer, whatever comes up, because we can add the insight to the information. You're becoming expert about the value of the information. That's all you have to do. When you try to go up into this insightful place that you're not coached on, trained on, or have the experience for yet, okay, you sound dumb, as you said, right? Because you're it's an insecurity. You're trying to do too much and you don't have the experience to back it up. You have the facts. So stick to the facts that matter to this guy, right? You have a plan. And it's not so you have our contact information. It's so you have our plan. I want to call you back and make sure you have our plan, because as you plan out over the next number of months, a year, he's going to be a 10. Remember what he's saying. He's saying, this is why I brought up database before. He's saying that if you keep me in your database and you keep giving me the right information and you call with more insight, it's very likely that one day you pick up the phone and I already know you and I'm a 10. And it's time for Paul to come. And nobody else followed up like that, I'll guarantee you. And now all of a sudden he's a 10. He's been educated by you. He feels obliged to at least have Paul over. That's what happens to telemarketing books of business, to agent books of business. If we will simplify, get them the right information along the way, put the touches on them, the day they're ready, there is nobody else. You follow me?
Got it.
Good, good. But you, my dear, have done phenomenally well in a very short period of time to get into that intuitive piece of it and be effective. Bravo. For somebody so young from another country to be able to use that. I'm going to hold you up as the example of when people think, oh, well, Danny and Gail, they're ogres. No, we're not. We worked on this with somebody and we couldn't get there. So at some point in time, business is ruthless because there are hundreds of thousands of dollars at risk here for the business. And if the business doesn't get fed, it screams. Gail and I are just listening to the business screaming and yelling, saying, it's not working. Fix it. Right? So bravo to you. You keep that up. You got no worries about job security as far as I'm concerned. None.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
None.
Yeah.
None. And everybody should be listening to this. It's not that I'm patronizing her. You know, well, you know what just happened. Some people make it, some don't. And I'll blame myself and Gail for not vetting the situation deeper. We should have. Now we learn. Now we go deeper, because you don't want to bring people in and upset their life and upset your life if they don't have what it takes to do this particular piece of the job. Okay? All right.
Yeah.
Let's
There's
listen.
one that's 4 minutes there. Can you put that one? Because the other one's short.
Is it the second one?
I don't know.
All right,
It's one
let me
that's
see.
4
All
minutes.
right, let me see this one. We'll do this and then we'll move on.
Okay.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
No, that's not that one.
Okay.
It's the
Hi,
other
is
one.
this Joseph?
Why is there such a delay though? Do you know, Sam?
I don't know. Maybe because of my headset. I don't know.
Okay. Let's try to figure that out, Paul, with Sam. Okay.
Hello.
Here we go.
That one. Yeah. It's really long.
Hello. Hello. Yes. Hello. Hi, is this Kareem? No, it's not. May I know who's calling? Yes, this is Sam. I'm calling from Cantu Group Real Estate. I'm calling because we saw your beautiful condo online, and we noticed it didn't sell. So we wanted to mail you something that will help you sell it the next time. May I do that? Yes. Let me give you the address to send it to. 2611 East Lake. East. Well, because
Hold on.
Number 301,
Okay.
Seattle 98102. 98102? It looks like a beautiful property. Why were you trying to sell it? Well, because I don't need it anymore. So
Okay,
just
and is
looking
the
at the
property-
pictures,
are you thinking the sale price would be around without looking at it physically?
Well, it would depend because we don't know the condition or style of the property. If you'd like, I can have my managing broker or owner stop by the property and give you the package in person, and he can give you a pricing.
There's a renter in there now, so I don't really want to do that right away.
Okay, so there's a renter right now, and is it an annual lease or is it month to month?
It's an annual lease, which ends
Okay,
in
and what would
December.
expire
In
in
December.
December? Okay, and is there like an opportunity that maybe the renter can give us like half an hour just to take a look, and that way you can have a pricing?
I'll have to arrange that with him. So if you're sending me a packet, if you could just put in a note that we've discussed that, because I get so much mail, I toss some of them out. So if you just add a little note that, can we go in for half an hour? Will the renter be available? That will remind me that I've talked to you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know it will be super different because it's a big envelope. So it's like a 9x12 one. And yeah, I will for sure have a note there.
Yeah, because, I have to also look at the lease and see when we can start. I think I was planning on starting to show it soon, but I just don't remember what's in his lease,
Okay, yeah, absolutely. If not, I'll send you that over, and we'll also send you a net proceeds analysis just for you to know an estimate of what we think it's for. And
Where is this going? Where does this come from? You're doing too much again.
That's why I panicked. But wait,
Yeah, but what are you panicking about? Just your job.
because I don't know. I didn't know anything about pricing,
No.
and then I asked for style and condition because I had just read
All right,
the book,
hold
and I
on.
was like, oh,
Yeah, but hold on. This is Paul's job. You're done.
right.
You're done. You did it. Do you understand? You did it.
Mm-hmm.
You did it. Look at how much she's telling you. You did it. Close. I want you to write somewhere big in front of you. CLOSE. Close. We used to have them all around the office where we made phone calls. Book the appointment. Now, over time, book the appointment when the time's right. It's right. Okay?
Yeah.
It's right. And
Yeah, 'cause
she
said December, and I said, well, it's not that far.
that's
December's not that far away.
that's right. So what are you supposed to be doing?
Closing?
For Paul?
Yeah.
Close. Right? But be very specific. Well, gee, that's pretty close. Is there anything in the lease that would allow Paul to take a quick peek at it? And then I could set up a meeting with you and Paul? That's all he needs is a quick walkthrough. You're forgetting who you're closing for, right? You're closing for Paul in his insight, and you're done. You got her. This is a done deal. You do a good job, but you're all of a sudden you're trying to do so much. Why? I only wanted you to read the booklet so you understood its value, so you believed it. But you've done the job. You've stayed simple and effective, and she is reading her mind aloud. You're proving my point. If we will just ask the questions, looks like a beautiful home. Why are you trying to sell in the first place? Well, boom, or whatever. I want the price. Well, great. Just close. If somebody says, well, I'd like to know what you think it's worth. Absolutely. When can I get Paul in? Close. Everything is about the appointment for you to be successful. Everything. It's either going to be trashed, it's not going to happen, or there's a potential for an appointment right now, or like the last guy down the line. You are effective, but you need to close for the appointment. I'll take a Zoom call, right? If it's a downsell, the upsell is if I get Paul in, then Paul could come and meet with you. And he can tell you what to do between now and December because it's not that far away. Close, or somebody else will. Okay, let's listen to the rest of it.
I can schedule a call also with Paul
Good.
sometime this weekend if you have any time. And he can also give you his insights on today's market.
Good.
Sure.
And it's not his insights on just today's market. It's on the market and what he thinks you should do with his plan about your property, how to sell your property, right? So it's not just the market. I want you to go away from these generalities into these specificities. Okay. Paul will tell you what the current market would mean for your property. Paul will tell you what he would do and wouldn't do to get it sold. Right?
Right.
Be specific. Paul will help you. Paul will help you. It's time for Paul to help you. You don't want to wait till last minute. Let Paul get in. Let Paul talk to you. Close, close, close.
Okay, when would be the best time of day? You know, it's always hot.
All right, good. Enough of that. You got my point. These are good. I mean, this is why these are good. This is now you're giving me a coachable moment because you're staying inside the training. Let me explain that to everybody, okay? When we train you to follow specific systems and you say the words that we train you in, this is what happens. People read their mind aloud. That allows me to train people in an intuitive thing, which is very much less scripted. It's more about training the listening ear and responding to what is really just frequently stated objections, put-offs, or whatever. But you're hearing specifically what's important to them about their timing. And then you're saying, well, wonderful. In that case, there's no need to rush Paul over for something that's 12 months out. Let me get you the information. I'll call you back. Then when she calls back, she sets up that continuity. What I sent you was a snapshot of what's happened. And what I'd like to do is keep you up to date on what's happening in real time. I'd like to put you on the market newsletter so you get it. And I'd like to put you in the Northwest MLS so you see what continues to happen. And it's all seamless. We won't bother you. I'll check in from time to time, see how the progress is going. Maybe Maine happens faster, maybe it doesn't. But we don't want to miss the opportunity to get Paul in the house so that you can meet him and you can get his insights. That's the next freemium, right? So just stick to this and just see yourself going along. And when you get nervous, stop talking, actually. Stop talking. Stop talking. You're interrupting because you're nervous that maybe you're going to lose them or you sound stupid. You don't sound stupid at all. You sound extremely intelligent in these last couple of calls. Extremely. Because you're following, you're welcome. You're following a trained system that helps you be the smart woman that I know you are. But if you start, you're the one that said this, by the way, not me. You said, I don't want to sound dumb or I sound dumb. Okay, that's because you're randomly picking things. That's the benefit of following a systematic approach. But you're evolving into, even though it's a system, there's a very intuitive part. You can't systematize somebody's ability to listen and respond. You can try to help them say, all right, say this, and it'll let somebody read their mind aloud. Listen, calm your nerves down. In through your nose, out through your mouth, in through your nose, out through your mouth. So you get in a state where you're calm and you're not responding nervously because you're listening. Oh, really? You rent it? Is it a year lease? Right? You're interested. You're genuine. You're genuine. You're interested. Listen, December for listing a home and preparing to sell it is not that far out. If Paul can just sneak in there with the tenants there, he can see what to do and what not to do to get ready for sale. So when you get this, I'll call you back. I'll put the note in that said, I'm Sam. We talked on the phone, right? You might even write that. We'll tell Daniel, write it on the front. You spoke with Sam on the phone. Here's the package. Write it on the front of the envelope, right?
Yeah, that lady booked the appointment with him. You know how I booked the follow-up call for Sunday at 12?
Yeah.
Well, he called her, and they booked the appointment for today. So I'm happy with it.
Because you set it up right. That's why I'm saying you're being effective here, right? You're being effective.
I'm on my way to the appointment right now.
Yeah. We'll see.
Okay, just want to check in too.
There you go. There you go. Perfect. So we get a live demonstration of effectiveness. There it is, folks. Right?
And after that call, I felt so well about myself. I said, I'm so capable of booking appointments. And yesterday I made the best call ever. I booked an appointment for today. And I couldn't send you the recording because it was an inbound call. So I didn't say it, but I was so happy.
Yeah, but see, you're sticking to the training, Sam. It's like, look, I am happy for you, but I expect this. And you know me, I'm already on to the next level with you. I'm up here in this intuitive thing. I want these second beats. I want to hear these second beats. And Paul, you'll be the first to admit now that you were the problem, even though you're super talented, even though this is intuitive. When you got in the way of the process, that's why you're now, during a call, on the way to an appointment. Okay? The effectiveness of a system. Bravo to both of you.
Thank you.
All right, who's up
Thanks,
next?
Danny.
You're welcome.
Danny, may I ask a question?
Sure, Jonathan.
Great. Well, I've been receiving calls that they said no, or they are not interested, and I tried asking them about their plans, or like did their plans change, and all that I'm getting is yes, or yes, I'm not interested already. So should I say, oh really, what changed?
Absolutely.
Did your plans change?
Absolutely, you should. Absolutely. Absolutely. You need to get conversational with these people very quickly, or you're not going to make any progress. See, what she just did there was, she was close enough and she asked the questions and the lady was reading her mind aloud, right? So you absolutely have to ask them. I mean, if not, and you're just trying to read words on a screen, you're dead. This is much deeper than that. This is much more personal than that. We only use scripting so that we can make a clear articulation of what's in it for them. This is Jonathan calling from Jones Realty, and the reason I'm calling is because I saw you trying to sell yourself. I saw you had it on and it didn't sell, right? You're going on whatever the context is in the beginning, but then after that, it's a conversation. And if you can't have a conversation, you're not going to be able to book anything. And we found that in Gail's business. Good question.
Okay, I see. Thank you. Well, that's because I'm somehow getting out of track when the questions or the answers are not on the script.
Right. That's the intuitive part of it. And you've got to be able to adapt into that or it's not going to work. Right. Mm-hmm. So the intuitive part of it is a conversation. If you don't ask, hey, by the way, while I have you, after you've gotten them the yes, the reason for finishing the first beat, Jonathan and Sam, is that you want to make sure that you get the permission completed, the address is confirmed, and you get that mailer out and you finish by saying, I will call you next week, and you better call to make sure you got the information because it's really helpful information. Oh, by the way, while I have you, looks like a great house. Why are you trying to sell it in the first place? So you got to get that question out and let them answer. That's it.
Danny.
Yep.
Okay, Jonathan, you have to listen for the answers to your specific questions while you're here in this meeting, and you need to jot them down on a piece of paper and stick them up around your desk so that when you hear something that takes you by surprise, you've already got the answer, or you can search your desk very quickly. You can scan your bulletin board, find the answer, and keep talking. You guys have to pin stuff up around your desk. Don't come to these meetings without a piece of paper and write down the questions you're hearing, write down the answers, and tack them up at your desk so that you always have words.
We have them in the script. It's as easy as downloading, all of the mind map, Jonathan and Sam and anybody else.
Put them on 7x5 cards.
Yeah, right. Well, that's a great point. It's like high school. It's like trying to memorize a new language. You put the objection and you put the answer and you flip them and you flip them and you flip them. What you're doing is you're training your brain to be able to be reactive. When you ask, you listen. You literally. I mean, if you're on a headset or whatever, grab it and exaggerate listening physically. Just grab it and listen. So whatever you have to do physically to put yourself in a true listening mode, that's what you need to do, because you need to hear the answer. And all this nerve and fear and whatever that wells up in us, what's happening is you're no longer hearing the answer. And you're already trying to come up with something else to say, and you have no idea. And I got frustrated a couple of weeks ago when we were doing Gail's calls. I got frustrated because there were too many times where it was very clear, it was a red alert. Nope, don't send it there. I don't live there anymore. And it's like, how do you not hear that? How do you not hear that? Like, I don't live there. You don't? Oh, you already moved out of this house? I mean, you should be shrieking opportunity. Gee, you're out of the house on a scale of 1 to 10. How motivated are you to get it relisted? You don't even have to say to get it sold. I mean, you're thinking to yourself, my gosh, this guy doesn't live there. Is it empty? Is it vacant? What's happening? You're caring for them in that moment. And like I just said, close for the appointment. Close when there's an urgency. And if you can't hear that, this isn't going to last very long.
Okay, I see. Thank you, Danny.
You're welcome.
Well, by the way, is this question, did your plans change or really what changed applicable when their motivation level is low? Like they're 8, 7.
Well,
or
you
6?
have the chunks in there. You have the chunks in there. Their motivation is low because their plans have changed. Or maybe they didn't. Maybe they were just, I don't know. I just did it on a whim. I gave it to a buddy of mine. He said he wanted a listing. I don't know. But I will tell you this, is that their motivation is in direct proportion to why they're doing this. And people can change their why. Like that guy that Sam had. He was very motivated to sell, and he was going to move down to another area in Seattle, and he decided not to, and he decided to build a house across the country. That's a big change of plans. So he went from a 10, because he was trying to do something quickly, changed his mind, went to a 0 until out in the future, then he'll be a 10 again. So that's why his motivation, anybody's motivation can go 10, 5, whatever. Look at, if I'm sitting there selling my house and then all of a sudden I'm trying to upscale and there's a recession. So I went from a 10, I'm like, oh, geez, who even thought I could lose my job? I'm a 0 to sell. I'm going to just stay right here. Thank you, recession, for showing up. So Jonathan, that's just life. It ebbs and it flows. It goes up and it down all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Reasons are always changing.
Thank you for answering the question, Danny.
You're welcome. Okay, more. Who's got something for me? You're all muted, by the way, unless you unmuted yourself already.
The other thing that, of course, I learned from the mistake, I just learned a lot. And one of the things is that because I know what to say, because when I started out telemarketing in my business, I just read it all the time. So I was prepared. But if you don't read it, like I have it all down. I mean, we've had it down before, but for some reason she didn't bring that up. But if you don't read it and understand it and internalize it, it's not going to happen, because they're going to come up with, well, I'm getting a divorce, or it's going to come up with something that there is no objections for. But if you understand and you internalize this whole script, all the objections, the whole thing, you'll be able to answer.
Yeah, and let me go to the outside sales for a second too. Let me explain this. I mean, I don't know if Sarah Corey or any of the folks in Canada are on today, but here's what I would say, and this is to all you top producers who are hiring somebody to help you with the telemarketing piece of it, or you get a postcard and there's an inbound call, digital, whatever. Okay. The understanding is, if you make a firm decision that your unique selling proposition is this planned approach for these people, which it should be, you now have that, and it comes to this moment where you do some sort of a conversion. Right during this call, there was a call, somebody calls us up and want to get my house on the market. What's your commission? Right? I can tell you already, that's not my avatar, but we'll call back. We'll vet the thing a little bit. We'll see if it's somebody that is workable or that's just their goofy mindset, right? So the point would be, and I say goofy because they don't know what they don't know. And what we do is extremely valuable. And you're not going to price shop me over the phone. I'll just move on, right? And that's how confident I am in my value. So when you understand that, let's just say now that gets vetted. Well, it turns out, he didn't know what else to ask, so he asked that. He's a good guy, and he's got a big reason to sell, and I booked you an appointment for X, okay? And so now you go in, you're into this conversation, and let's say Autumn books it, and she sent the information, and the guy gets the information, and he now begins to understand this. I don't come into that house with a whole new approach. We talked about this in the mastermind group. That guy will have been conditioned by what is said, what is sent. And even if I go out there quickly and we can't mail it and I'm the deliverer, I still have the same plan. But now it's go time in the field. So setting them up to get this package, dealing with the, why they're really doing it is just trying to determine, is it a viable appointment? But let's say I get there. I follow an extremely trained and coached plan. Me, self-coaching, self-training. I go to that house and I get there a little bit early, not a lot, a little bit early, drive, maybe do a little bit of loop around the neighborhood, to look at the neighborhood houses, get a feeling for it, set myself. Take a look. What's the quality of this place? What's my approach to this place? I look like a weirdo coming up to this house. I'm like a stalker. Then I come in and I go in the driveway and I don't rush out of my car. I'm not stumbling and fumbling. My black folder is next to me. I stop, give them a chance to maybe notice. The doors may be open. The lights are maybe on. I'm there. I grab my black folder. I open it up and I look at the intake form. This is why I said to Laura and Autumn, don't ever send me out with my intake notes. You're screwing up the formula. Because I need to now go follow my formula. And if I don't have the answer to questions, you're making me do work that you should have done and handed to me so that I can be more effective. You want me to go get the listing for us? Then you better be effective in the full setup, not just the appointment, but the right answers, right? To the very key stuff. Why are they doing this? What is their motivation? What do they think it's worth? Those are really, really key. And have they done anything for upgrades to it? I mean, these are really important questions that are on the seller qualifying questionnaire. I look at that stuff. I take a quick look at the analysis, the three numbers, high, medium, and low, what this could be. And I look at what they said. And I figure out, gee, do I have a realistic person? You're not going to believe this, but I went to one the other day and their expectation was 300. And I look at the math. I'm like, holy crap. They're at least 350. This is going to be a pleasant experience for these people. And it was. And it was, I'm like, I don't know how I couldn't do it for this. So I went, I sat there, I looked at the challenges. All right, steep driveway, but lower level. I'm telling you what my brain was seeing. Okay, a little bit of trim paint, a couple things. I look up at the roof. I mean, they can see me through the window doing these things. It's not happening, slowly, but they can see me looking around. I'm not just like head down, walking to the door. I'm following a formula. I get to that front door. Hey, thanks so much for having me over. I step in. Would you mind giving me a quick tour of the property? In my language, so I don't confuse anybody, I speak my vernacular. Would you give me a nickel tour of the property when we sit down? Because I'm funny, I'm light, but I'm serious and I'm professional. So we go through the whole thing and I'm looking and I'm talking and they might be asking me suggestions right there. If I have the ability, because remember what we've offered, my insight. So when I walk through, not only am I looking, are you above or below average condition? I'm saying, yep, I would move this. Oh, this is good, but you got to get this stuff out of here, right? Because they'll ask me, what do you think of this? What do you think of, yep, no, no, that's okay. Don't worry about that, but do this. Yep, okay. I walked into a house the other night. I'm like, nope, Paul, he's a friend. I said, you got to get rid of these kitchen cabinets at that price. The math is there, but because he can do everything cheap. He's got friends and trade and everything. I told him, take out these kitchen cabinets. You're not a $500,000 house with those cabinets. So do the work. It's worth it. So, that's the type of insight that they want from me. But then can we sit down somewhere where I can go over my plan? My plan. Can we sit down somewhere where I can spread the information out? And the other night, it wasn't exactly a kitchen table, so it's a little bit more difficult, but I reach across and I give the infographic and I know it cold, so I can go through it. I hold back the math and I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we're relating it. Is there anything in there that I didn't cover that's important to you? No, this is great, right? And I was referred in heavily. This is a very heavy referral. It's already, very heavy pre-sold by people, but they need their own authentic process. I don't rush. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Any questions? No. Great. All right, great. Let's go over the math. I think you're going to find I have some good news here for you. So I passed the math over. I explained the relative analysis. In this case, because I want to validate for myself, I don't like to go in there and tell somebody it's worth way more than they thought it was without absolute surety that I'm not screwing myself up. I look at the absolute sales. I just can't make a case, other than to be right there, 364, 9, see where it goes. I tell them what to do. I ask how quickly you can get it done, right? And that's it. I'm done. I'm done. And it just doesn't take that long. And they're more empowered than they would ever be before. They are more hopeful that they can get to where they want to go. And I said, look, guys, just telling you right now, my biggest concern is, do you know where you're going down in Florida? Because you're moving. Be careful when you invite me over and you have a motivation of 10. You're moving. So get rid of all the stuff that's not going. Call down to a rental agent, because their kids are down there. Get hooked up with them and get ready to move because it's going down. And that's exactly what happens. So I am very much in line. When Autumn sends me out there, I'm not doing this. And she has the confidence as she co-builds this book of business. She has the confidence that when I'm handling business that she's initiated, that I am following a system. So that if we don't get it right there and then, and it requires longer term follow-up, she knows what I said. And I'll come back and highlight, Autumn, their condition's rough. They definitely need to do some things. So back to you. You stay on them. Make sure that they're getting, the conditioning done. And then when it's time for me to go back in and inspect and get it listed. So Autumn and I won't even move it close to Laura yet until we're absolutely certain it's closed out on that telemarketing and convert to client, piece. We won't even do it. Before we were sort of dabbling with Laura. Nope. And it's a hard, cold cutoff in the system. And now with Laura, now I'm getting more help. We're about to hire somebody who with a just listed, just sold postcards, just listed, just sold digital, all the featured property stuff. We are hiring a specialist just for all that marketing material to be organized every single time this happens, because that's also not what Laura does. So it becomes more and more micro for me so that everything we do is as impeccable as possible. But outside sales, you got to hear me say that. You got to go in and add your insights to the plan. And then when you start to execute the plan because they become a client, it's got to be impeccable. You can't be this good and then not be an impeccable onboarder, because that's when they really begin to judge us. And they're going to have to take some tough advice. You need a price reduction. You need an open house now. I know you're anxious about it. You need to pack up. You need to call the mover. You need to call the contractor. I need to lean in on them more now that they're a client. All right, questions about that? Because I want to tie inside sales to this. This is not just about telemarketing. There's it's interlocked like a really tight lock. It's interlocked like a train car comes in and clamps and magnetizes together. Telemarketing, also known as inside sales, connected to outside sales. It needs to be consistent. So you're all worried about, well, what if they thought I was coming to the house, right? That's stupid line. That's dumb. No, they shouldn't think you're coming to the house, because you should have set them up correctly, that your job is to telemarket and get the plan to them and set them up for the pro who has the insight. Should never be lost. That means you weren't explaining it correctly. When it's done correctly, the pass off is seamless. It's seamless. Okay. All right, questions about that, thoughts about that, outside sales? Anybody? Hey, Jessica Rossi, I see you in there. Can you open your mic for a second too? I wanted an update from you.
Hey, Danny.
Hi, how are you? Hey, tell me a little bit, because we've been doing that with you. We've tried to logistically clean it up to help you. How we doing there as far as reprioritizing? So are you having the time to call the seller leads, aka the expireds? Are you getting more time?
Not as much.
Okay. All right. That's still a problem.
I do have 2 calls that I'll send you to this week, but they don't have their assistant anymore here. She became an agent, so I'm pretty much getting more bookings to put in the system for the guys.
Okay. All right. All right. Good. Not good. I will jump on that with them. But I did have the conversation, so I know we're trying to fix that. But this is why nobody should ever hire an assistant. There's no such thing, right? There's a telemarketer. There's an outside sales agent. There's a client care manager. See, those are specialist jobs, and this is precisely the problem with the process. You are a killer good telemarketer. So every minute that goes where you're not doing that is a problem. Autumn will tell you, when we had her doing too much admin, she was freaking out, and rightfully so, by the way. But it's very easy for us as managers to not manage correctly and use you. You're globally talented in many ways from an organizational standpoint. I think the world of you, as you know, but we're hurting the whole team's ability when we don't prioritize telemarketing and then what happens in the telemarketing, right? But they did stop the partial leads, right?
They did. And now they want me to start tagging our leads. That way, when I get the estate lead on my app and a new listing comes up, I have to pretty much like Google the tags to see who matches each property. So then, that takes up time too.
Yeah. That's the buyer market making stuff. Okay. All right. Well, I'll talk to them. See, by the way, the reason I wanted to do this in the sales training call, you can teach all you want, the training part of what to do in each scenario, buyers, sellers, whatever, and you can coach those moments. But if behind the scenes, the systems are broken and the information's coming in all whacked out and hasn't been managed and prioritized, you put somebody like Jessica in a compromised position. And I don't want to ever hear from any of you managers that they're not effective. No. You are not effective. You are the problem. And that's why I gave Paul 5 gold stars for reworking his management of what he was doing. He was mismanaging what was happening. He fixed it. And here he is live on the call going out to a listing that he wants to be at. So Jessica, next week, we lean in heavy on that. And if you can be on with the guys on that training call with me, we need, tell them 3-way. Okay? Yeah, because I've been thinking about you, but I wanted to get to it. And I know it was a little discombobulated, but enough, right? Enough.
Right.
We need to fix it.
Right.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Thanks for checking in. All right. Anything else from my team leaders? How about my masterminders? Anything? Any thoughts? Yep. Go ahead, Alan.
So I started the Indeed ad on Thursday.
Yep.
And, 4 leads, 2 of them are just not any good. And the other 2 are guys who are in the collection business. That just doesn't seem like
No way.
Okay.
No way.
That's what I thought.
Well, well, Alan, you see why right now, right? You can hear, look at, it's not a discriminatory thing. It's our job is to find the best person for the job. And when you start talking about all this intuitive approach, I'm not saying that guys aren't intuitive. I'm just saying that women have that onboard natural way if they're good listeners and they don't carry, baggage into it, right? So they get into that.
I figured that's what you would say. I just thought you asked questions and I thought I'd throw it out there.
Love it.
And we'll keep the ad running.
Yep. Love it.
Alan, I found that we had to tweak our ad because we had like 70 plus applicants. I found that we had to tweak and put right in the beginning in bold, do not, or I forget how exactly we worded it. It was something like telemarketing experience is a requirement. Do not apply.
Yeah.
Because we were getting veterinarian specialists, like we had
assistants. Yeah, I've seen that too. Chris, I have to look back at my ad. Danny, I sent you the ad. I emailed it to you, but I think y'all were headed out of town yesterday.
Okay.
I sent it to you just so you could look at it and see if it needed any tweaks.
Okay.
Yeah. I thought I put in there outbound call experience required.
Okay. I'll tell you what.
I'd even give a year. I'd say 5 years, 3 years.
I think
it's definitely in the ad. It's definitely in the ad. It's the original one, but I'll take a look at this. It's a good point. I like this ending to this call. It's a very specific experience. See, what I wanted was Autumn to bring me her experience, and then I could bring her my training, and those things could collide, right? So, and it took us a while. Autumn will tell you, it took us a while to get her used to a bigger ticket item that takes more time, but now she gets it. But I wanted her to come in. I don't want to, develop out a telemarketing mind. I want one to arrive with that skill set. If you're begging somebody to make outbound calls, or you're like, Gail and I were repeating the same thing and it just wasn't sinking in versus Sam, in 2 weeks' time, she sounds the part, right? That's what you're looking for. Now, when Gail and I interviewed this other gal, the interviews, by the way, all of you, please don't hire anybody without letting me have a whack at the interview too, because I'm going to hear what you don't sometimes. So the idea was I went right at it, Alan, with her, right at it, because she said, oh, telemarketing is not really what it is. I said, no, hold on, stop. It is what it is. And let me explain the context, right? It is what it is. And
That's
then she stopped, listened to me. I know what she was saying. She wasn't trying to talk over me. She was trying to say it's service, it's deeper. She was saying that, but I said, but I'm going to start coaching you right now. It's telemarketing. I have some information. What is it? It's a plan. And what goes with it are the properties that relate to you. You're telemarketing the value of that package. That's what you're doing. Because we could do a video sales letter that markets the value of this package. We could do a postcard that see, that's marketing. It's all marketing, right?
But I have a question, Danny.
Yeah.
Why are you saying no to bill collectors? Those people.
Oh, no. I would say yes to a bill collector in a heartbeat if it was a woman who had the intuition and that ability, right? I would say it. I'll tell you what.
But I know telemarketers that are men that are amazing.
Yeah, they don't sit
and this
still.
is all I'm saying.
They don't sit
That's
still.
all I'm saying.
I know they don't sit still. They don't sit
What
still.
concerned me,
They don't
what
sit still.
concerned me was the guy. I guess one, because you hear about these hard ass bill collector guys, and they're just bulldozers, to get to get you to break down and give them the money they're trying to collect.
Alan, listen to me. It's a woman.
Okay.
It's a woman. Period. I've been doing this for too long in this business.
That's fine. I just wanted to bring this up.
And I've had Alan, I've had an effective guy, but the testosterone gets in the way. Believe me, it just does. It just does. I mean, I've got thousands of hours of distinctions. She's right on a skill set standpoint, but I know what it takes in the longer run. The testosterone gets in the way. Guys always have to be right. It always has to be them. They're not the best listeners. They're good bulldogs. They can get appointments for the sake of appointments. If that's all I was interested in, I would be interested in a mix of both. I'm not. What Autumn does extraordinarily well is actually begins very quickly a true relationship, so that when I go through the door, there's a sense of relationship already there. And there's a clear professionalism already telemarketed. I just have never felt that way with a guy. And I've had Jack, who was the guy that was effective, was still not as good as some of the young gals. When I would get in the house, I would feel that my gals had made a much deeper connection than my guy. Right?
Okay.
Cool.
Thank
Well,
you.
I always say the sale's made on the hello. So I meet them when I say hi to them. I might not listen to them with my soul or my spirit for the rest of the conversation, but trust me, I am actually listening and meeting them face to face on the hello.
Yeah.
When they pick.
But I know what you're doing, because when I arrive, I can tell. I already know. Your thing, Autumn, is to get really to know, which we're doing with you this year. You're getting your real estate license now. You're in the class. But more importantly, to really know the value of the plan. That goes to all of us. More and more and more to understand what that value is, and that I and all the mastermind members who adhere to it to make their lives easier to really, truly serve, stick to the plan. Stop making it about your muscle. Stop making it about your resume. Stop making it about the national brand that you're part of. That is not what's in it for them. What's in it for them is guidance against the plan that empowers them to ultimately know how to go through the process. We are the true Sherpa when we do it that way. I've done it both ways, by the way. Oh, my resume 2 hours later, and then a week later wondering why they went with somebody else, because they were not empowered correctly. They liked me, sure. They had no idea what I really was saying, but they just liked me. And a lot of them were surrendering. This way, I leave a positive footprint behind that's clear, simple, and professional. They know when we leave, or when Autumn sends this, that we have a very clear way to help them. And it's very universally appealing and very unique. You keep competing on, by the way, if you have agents, if you're recruiting agents and you're trying to tell them to go out there and thump the team resume or the company resume, it's lost on your agents. It's lost on them because they're not connected to it, and they can't be, right? I don't even like my own testimonials until I like my own testimonials. Meaning, as we were going through the video sales letter, it's only there to prove after I tell you the value of what's in it for you, and I go through the plan. It's only then do I say, but other people have gone through this plan, and I want my testimonials to say, we tried this, it was difficult, but he came in with this very clear plan, and when we followed it, we just couldn't even believe it, and we were mad that nobody else had a plan, and now we know what we didn't know. That's the testimonial you want, not, oh, Johnny was great. And Johnny came home and he got us the top price and Johnny helped us move. And those suck, right? Compared to what I know now. I just want to show you, even if you don't use me, I can leave that conversation knowing I did the right thing by you. And on that note, that's enough because I got to drive a kid to college. So I will see you next week. All right? Good work. Good call.
Bye.
See you later. Good job, Sam.
Thank you.